Okay, so I'm Cynthia Becker, and I'm the host of the reality series, CPS the Horror Stories. I'm not an attorney or a social worker, but I am a mom who had her children kidnapped by CPS a few years ago. After 2 years of fighting, I did get my kids back. The reason that I do this and have this show or platform is to allow parents to share their side of the story when CPS comes in and tries to ruin their life by teaching their kids. Um, so that is what I do. Krista, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell me where you're from and a little bit about you and your kids.
Yeah, I'm Krista. I'm in the San Antonio, Texas area. I've got 4 beautiful children whom 2 are special needs. They're very energetic, very fun. Never a dull moment in this house. So,
What are the ages of the kids?
my oldest is 7, then 4, 3, and 2.
Wow.
Yeah, they're close in age.
And you said that you were in another state prior to Texas?
Yes, I used to live in California.
Whereabouts in California?
Napa.
Okay, so up north.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you ever have a history in the foster system by any chance?
Yes.
Okay. Do you mind if we start there?
So I was 2 years old, I believe, when I was first put in the system. I'm not too sure about everything. I just know that I was in a house fire and we were taken away from basically both parents at that time and then given custody to our biological father. And I say we because it was my brother and I.
Okay, I was gonna ask who's.
Right.
Wow. A house fire? How did that happen, if you don't mind?
My biological mom it was her birthday. And from the stories that I've been told, she went out to go party basically or something. I don't exactly know the full story there either. Reading the police reports, she was from them. She was down the street when the fire happened, neighbors said, at the gas station or something. And she's been known to do drugs and drink excessively. Firefighters basically, or I think it was trying to think if it was an off-duty police officer or firefighter who seen the fire and was called it in and was trying to save us and whatnot. My sister and brother passed away from that, and it was me and my brother that survived. My sister was found laying on top of me, protecting me, and she was only 3. The only thing that saved my little brother's life was a wet diaper that the investigators think that was on him for about a week, which I'm trying to figure out how whenever these kids' diapers don't even last a day. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I get it. Oh my gosh.
So I had to have a little bit of humor in there because I start getting anxiety about it.
I'm sure. I was not prepared for that. I apologize.
It's okay. It's
Um,
in the past now.
I'm sorry. Now I understand like why there you struggle with um I haven't found a good word that I like because I have um different mental things. I don't like the word mental issues or abilities or anything because it sounds very wrong. Everybody has something, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But
I've learned to accept mental health issues. I mean, it's what it is. It's an issue that you have to get over.
right, absolutely. But I hate the words associated. I guess because of how other people, especially in the Department of Child Protective Services, makes
What they're trying to use against me right now. Yeah.
so wow, okay. That's incredible. And not in a good way, but I'm so sorry to hear all of that. So you guys were removed and put in care of your father?
For a little while, we were actually in the system.
Okay.
Or at least I was. My brother stayed in the hospital for like 2 years because of all the surgeries and stuff, because he was so tiny. The only thing that wasn't burnt was his bottom and his back.
Oh my gosh. Was your
Um,
mom in the home?
no, she was gone. And she came back stating that she was in the house, but she wasn't, and there was no proof that she was in the house.
So there
But
were no adults in the house.
no, the oldest one that was there is my older brother, and he was 5, and they believe that the fire started in his room.
By him or
Possibly. Now, I've heard different stories on this part where it was him that started the fire or it was a meth lab. We don't know. Yeah,
the mom
no
was
idea.
using and cooking.
So,
So you went into foster care.
yeah,
Oh,
after the hospital stays, I went into foster care for a little while. Then, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know the full circumstances on how everything went about.
I'm gonna pause this really fast. Okay, so how long were you in the hospital?
I don't know. I'm being honest with you. I want to say about 6 months, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I could have been in and out. That's the part where I don't know. A lot of people don't remember how, in the family don't remember how long I was actually in the hospital for. I just know that they had to teach me how to walk again and do a lot of reconstruction surgeries. I am a partial amputee, so they had to amputate my big toe basically. Teach me how to use my fingers and stuff again. So.
Wow, the trauma.
Basically redo everything like you would a newborn. Re-potty training, learning how to accept, apparently I used to cover up my scars saying I don't want to look at them and stuff like that, things like that. So
the first foster home that you went to, do you happen to remember any of the foster homes in the beginning or no?
Honestly, I don't remember too much about a lot of the places. I just remember being in some stranger's home, which I'm assuming that it is one of the foster parents' houses. They weren't very nice there. Always very mean, demanding, and always stole my food. Yeah.
Okay.
So that part I don't really remember. I just remember some like bits and pieces of it. Other than I just don't. I think I was just too young.
Okay. When was the furthest back that you do remember some clear memories?
I want to say around 5 years old.
Okay. Where were you living then?
With my dad.
Okay. And how was that relationship and living?
Okay, so he was married to my stepmom. He finally got married. I don't know. I guess they got married around 94.
Okay.
I'm not 93, 94, somewhere around there. Basically to show the courts, hey, we are a stable home kind of thing, which in reality they weren't. There's a lot of abuse and drinking and drugs going on there too.
Okay, I was gonna ask, how stable was this home?
It wasn't. My biological mother found out where I was going to school, tried to pretend that she was my mom. At this point, she's lost all her rights to us, and she found out where we were living, found out what school we were at, tried to kidnap me. So
this is your real mom, your biological mom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was put on personal lockdown from the school is what they basically called it. I wasn't allowed to go outside unless my stepmom was there or my dad was there to pick me up.
Now, when you say that there was a lot of abuse in the home, can we talk a little bit about that? What kind of abuse was it?
So a lot of physical. There was a bunch of verbal and emotional abuse going on. My dad, well, is an alcoholic, and he used to drink very heavily and mix it with his drugs. He was just not a good person. He was on meth, from what I understand, which made him very, very violent.
Yeah.
So lots of phone calls to the police from the neighbors and stuff. The biggest one I can really remember is, and I blocked some of this memory out because I don't know what really happened this night, but he took us to his friend's place and he was walking around with me, and my little brother was at the house with his friends in their kitchen about to eat dinner. But he took me to this barn, and after that, I don't remember exactly what happened until my stepmom came and got me.
What do you think was happening?
I have my speculations because of what happened whenever I got older. So it's not anything good.
Would it be safe to assume it was sexual abuse?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
But because I can't,
I understand.
I don't know for sure. I don't want to just immediately say that's what happened that night because I blocked it out.
Right.
And counselors have tried to get me to unblock it. Nobody can.
Sometimes, I think it's for healthy purposes that our brains do that for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And still to this day, I'm 29 years old, almost 30. I'm like, I can't handle dark spaces. So I think I didn't used to be afraid of the dark. So there's something going on.
Yeah. And, the other day, my therapist was talking to me and my daughter, and he was talking to her, but I went through a lot of different abuse in my marriage because I was married I was married for 12 years or 11 years, and when I got sick, I don't know if you're aware, I have health issues. When I got very sick, he got hooked on meth and became very abusive and stuff. So my therapist was talking to my daughter, and he said something, well, when you do this, it reminds your mom of when your dad would do this. And it literally broke me. I immediately started shaking and crying. Just
yeah.
when you get triggered by something.
That's the PTSD coming out.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy.
It sucks. It really does. And it's one of those moments where you wish you didn't get triggered that easily.
Yeah, I had no idea, that I felt that way or about this particular subject. I couldn't even, honestly, I can't even tell you what it was now.
Right.
But so my point is, I understand how our brains just do that,
Yeah. When CPS showed up at my door, I immediately just my whole body went cold and I started shaking. I'm like, what are you guys doing here? Kind of thing. And they are part of my issue with my PTSD.
Absolutely. Well, do you know that if we get a knock on our door, all three of us, me and my two kids, if we get a knock on our door and we're not we weren't expecting somebody, all three of us panic instantly.
I don't even answer my door to people. And so the day that these people showed up, my son got sent home for COVID symptoms. It was allergies, but I thought it was the health department. I'm being honest. I was knocking at my door. Or maybe somebody lost in the neighborhood. I don't know.
Right.
Stupid now, I get it. But I kind of, I opened the door. I'm like, can I help you? Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I'm from CPS. I'm like, what? That was awfully quick. I mean, aren't you supposed to be from the health department or something?
Yeah. I heard that if you have COVID-like symptoms and your kid gets sent home, CPS shows up.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought it was, you know, like maybe health department, CPS was showing up for them. But a little backstory to that. I know who called. They called in anonymously. However, they had too many details about what my house looked like. And the ages of my kids and their birthdays and stuff like that. If you're an anonymous caller and you don't know who I am, how would you know which room my children sleep in?
Yeah.
How would you know where the cat litter box is? Like, seriously.
So was it a friend or family member or somebody trying?
It was a family member.
Family member. Don't you love
They hadn't been to my house in 2 months. I was taking care of her daughter. I had her here living with me, taking care of her because she was in an abusive situation. They made this whole situation out saying that she was being physically and mentally abused. So I said, well, because I know what it's like to live with my stepmom or adopted mom now, then she's welcome here, and you know, we're gonna keep her here. We'll keep her safe. So
Wow.
we
Let's pause there really fast because
okay.
I want to do the whole timeline. Let's go back,
Okay.
if you
Okay,
don't
sorry.
mind, and finish as a child.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Is that okay? Do you
That's
mind?
fine. My mind just jumped a little
I
bit.
know.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, don't apologize. I totally understand. So how long did you have to stay in that situation at your dad's?
I was 9 years old when my stepmom and dad separated. My dad took us, obviously, because he's the custodial parent.
Right.
Well, I didn't know this at the time. I found this out later. He drained their bank accounts. He took a lot of money out because there was apparently a lot of money in there. I didn't know that. I was a kid. How was I supposed to know, you know? But I get blamed for it. He took us to Idaho, Reno, a couple other different places after he left my stepmom. The reason why we went to Idaho was because he has family up there. We're just kind of visiting them. I was told that the reason for the trip is we were following state fairs.
Following what?
State fairs.
Okay.
The state fair. Basically going to state to see what fair is in town.
Yeah.
Whatever. At this moment in time, I didn't think anything twice about it. I was like, oh, we're going on vacation with daddy, you know?
Yeah. Sounds fun.
Yeah. Then whenever we finally actually got to our destination, we're at my aunt's house, and I got on the phone because my stepmom had called me, and she's like, I miss you guys, hope you guys are okay. And then she goes, what's going on there? And my dad had just had my aunt take me to go get new clothes, and it was around the time where I was developing, so they wanted me to get a bra and all this other stuff, you know. And my mom's all, you know, he's buying your love, right? And that's not okay. And I said, I don't know. I just know they said I needed clothes. I mean, I'm a kid. How am I supposed to know this, right? I think my dad was trying to keep us out of the drama between him and her.
Okay.
However, she kept on, every time she called, pulling us back into the drama and trying to like basically say, hey, this is what's really going on, being our reality check, you know. And as a kid, I didn't want to hear that because I don't want to hear somebody's talking bad about my dad.
Yeah.
I was just enjoying the fact that I was finally spending time with him, and I hardly ever did. So,
I get that.
fast forward a little bit, I'm trying to figure out the timeline. I'm sorry, it's a little confusing. We are in Reno, Nevada, and he gets sick. He has his girlfriend. Actually, let me back up a little bit. I'm sorry. Let's go back to California, because he goes back to California, and we're living there with his other sister, my other aunt. And then we move into another house in Vallejo. There's a lot of shady stuff that happens there. And then he loses his job because he hit somebody while he was on work, and ends up injuring the person, and found out he was drinking on the job again.
I know you were saying that your dad had taken you out. I think you were talking about like California.
Okay.
And
So he had taken me out of state, basically, or me and my brother out of state. And then we came back to California. That's what it was. And he lost his job because he was drunk, and they, I guess, did a drug test on him as well. And he had drugs in his system. What drugs, I don't know at this time. But his drug of choice was always meth that I know of.
Okay.
The lady, I guess, sued the company because of it, which I would too, if one of their workers. So he went from being a big time mechanic, like top of the chain, basically, to nothing, all in matter of moments because of his decisions.
Isn't that amazing how
Yeah.
it can ruin your life like that?
Yeah. I mean, he was, and I'm not, don't take this whenever I say this, but he was making it like, I want to say $100,000 a year, including with bonuses, to making nothing. And that's how quickly, and we were always poor. We had no food, he would always say, because it was always gone. He was gambling it away and buying drugs with it.
Wow. Sounds so familiar to my ex-husband. Okay.
After that,
And you're in school at this time, right?
I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
When I say that, I was barely in school, basically failing all my classes. I want to say sixth grade at this time, whenever we're living in this house. Cops started getting called quite a bit because of not only me missing school, but the domestic violence between him and his girlfriend.
A different woman now.
Yeah, different woman, also on drugs. Very. Only way I can describe her now is she's like the evil stepmother of all evil stepmothers. Because he basically threw her into a role of taking care of kids that weren't hers, and she didn't want anything to do with. She hated us. She resented us.
That's sad for everybody.
Yeah. And she had a child of her own that she lost custody of herself. So that, to me, and as I'm older now that I understand, would be red flags. As a child, I didn't know any better. And I hate to use that phrase, as a child, but I mean, we're so naive as kids. We try to see the good in everything.
Yeah.
We don't see the evil of the world.
Right.
But unfortunately, we're living in the evil of the world.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, baby.
Oh, that was cute.
So after that, We went to Reno for some reason. I don't remember why we went to Reno. I think he was mainly trying to find job opportunities or something, and he got stuck there. We were living out of a motel for a little while. That was like one of those cheapy, rundown, people were living there kind of motels. Nothing really wrong with it except for it's in a bad neighborhood full of a bunch of drugs, and you could tell that it's hardships. When he finally got us a place to live, it was an apartment. I don't know how he got the apartment. I don't know what he was doing for work necessarily because he could barely afford food. But he got this apartment, and this was the first night in a while that I had seen him like go crazy, because my brother has this condition where his skin itches a lot because of his scars and stuff. Mind you, and this, he had us for 2 years without any medical attention, any dental appointments, anything, basically. No wellness checkups at all.
The school didn't require.
I don't know what happened with that.
Okay.
I don't know. I was.
Yeah, of course. You're a child. I apologize.
No,
thinking,
it's all good. I think they were just glad that I showed up when I did.
Okay.
Kind of thing, because I was there maybe a month out of the whole school year. all my time together, maybe a month out of the whole school year.
Doesn't it make you wonder, like, where is CPS? The CPS that you need.
My daughter's over here shaking her head. Yes.
That's supposed to be there to save and protect the kids that are in need of.
From what I understand is the school called multiple times, but they couldn't do anything because my dad was always moving. I don't know how that all works out. They couldn't just come to the school and take us.
Got it.
I guess he claimed that we were having surgeries or something, which is that yummy? Which we never did. And because of that, I have stunted growth in my left arm from the scars and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I had to laugh because it's just like the whole situation's just.
I get it, I'm sure.
If I don't laugh about something, I'll end up crying, and I try not to cry. Not saying anything bad about crying, but. Let's see.
You're keeping it good for me too, because I feel like crying for you. So.
Oh, I'm not. That's not what was meant to happen. I'm sorry.
No, I know that, but I'm just like, I want to hug you.
No. So after the whole apartment fiasco, basically what happened that night, he came home in a really bad mood. Like, I don't know if he was drinking or just got a fix or whatever. He was just in a foul mood. Or maybe he was coming down. I don't know. But, okay, shh. He beat the crap out of my brother with full-fledged fist because he scratched and got blood on the sheets. Mind you, my brother is maybe mentally, at this time, because he's got a bunch of brain damage from the fire. Mentally, the age of my daughter, my 3-year-old. Yeah, maybe a little bit older, maybe my 4-year-old. I'll be nice and say that one.
How old was he though? He
was, I want to say 8, 7, something like that.
Little, yeah.
Yeah. He's a year and a half younger than I am, and I'm trying to remember when this is all taking place. No crying, no crying. You have your own candy. Look. Want me to open it? Is it open? Here, I'll help you. You want this open? No. Yeah, I got a booby on my finger. There you go. Yeah, those are called Whoppers. What? My dad ended up in the hospital 2 days later. I don't know why exactly. He was just having a lot of pain. They told him, they had my brother go in there with him to pee in a cup in the hospital. Yeah.
Hold on, say that again.
They had my brother go into the hospital with my dad and his girlfriend had my little brother go into the hospital with them so that my brother could pee in a cup.
For your dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the hospital found out because my brother was very, very sick. He had some kind of infection going on, and obviously it ended up in his urine. And they're like, "Oh, well, we think you have this such and such infection, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "There's no way. I don't have any open cuts, open wounds, whatever, you know." And they go, "Well, we could test your urine again." This much I remember was he told me to go out of the room and take my brother because he had to whip it out and put it in a bottle. That's what he was saying. He was not in the right frame of mind. I can tell you that right now. So I left the room and his girlfriend's in there helping him do his business. And I guess he left AMA, against medical advice. And he refused to sign the paperwork for them because I guess he had her pee in the cup. She came back pregnant. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Funny.
It was. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's very.
I wonder why they would even like check for pregnancy.
I think they had suspicions that he was having somebody else pee for him.
Okay.
So obviously hiding that he was trying to, he was doing drugs. And they were trying to tell him, "We don't care if you're on drugs. We just need a urine sample so we can figure out what's going on with you so we can discharge you. If you want to do drugs, that's on you. But your children will be taken away." And then that's when he left.
Got it.
Yeah.
And without any of the information on the paperwork, they can't find him.
Right.
Or you.
Right. So he didn't sign the paperwork. He just left with us all. And I guess he was borrowing money from one of his dealers. And I was made to sit out in the car with my brother. The first time we were made to sit out in the car for hours and hours and hours while he was inside of a hotel room or an apartment or something. Then we came back to California. We were staying at a Motel 6. And this is one of those moments where we were outside because he was in a room with somebody else. And don't put the straw on me, please. There was a that's gross. Stop it. That's gross. There was a police chase. Cops were on foot with guns drawn, running after a suspect, and the cops were telling us to get out of the pool and go to our parents. And I knocked on the door of the room that they were in, and they refused to let me in and my brother in. Basically, a guy got shot down in front of us because of our dad not being wise enough to try to protect his kids from that kind of situation. Another time, we move forward a little bit. We're at his girlfriend's mom's house, and she was trying to move, and he left us there. This is when CPS got involved finally and took us away from him. Hey, stop screaming, please. CPS finally stepped in because my brother ended up in the hospital to check to see if he had any broken ribs because of the scarring on his stomach, because my dad's girlfriend squeezed the crap out of his stomach.
Why?
Because he was trying to help and he was moving too slow.
Help what?
Grab some stuff for
The
her and put it to the car, basically transferring stuff, and he was just in her way and she couldn't stand him being in the way.
And so she grabbed him and hugged him.
Tightly.
Right.
Yeah, very tightly. And because of his scarring, they don't know if any of his ribs got cracked or there's any internal stuff because he's such a fragile child. Mind you, that same day, she got mad at me because her mom had told me I could have the last soda in the house, whatever, you know, and she punched me in the arm. And I had a bruise in my arm.
Who punched you in the arm? The girlfriend?
The girlfriend, yeah. Yeah, the cops took pictures of all that. Cops were called because her and her sister got in a fight, and basically we all told them what happened. Nobody can get a hold of my dad. Nobody knew how to get a hold of my dad. She took off drunk in the car. And then we were taken to a receiving center. We're there for, I think, 24 hours while my stepmom got emergency custody. Girls, quiet, please. No, ma'am.
Now, how was your stepmom at this time? Clean?
She's never, that I know of, okay, the only thing that she's ever done is pop pills.
Okay.
But I'll get to that in a minute. So she came with my step grandparents, which is the only, gonna realize this is the only family I know that's actually family. So she came with my grandma, my grandpa, my, I'm trying to think if she came with my uncle or if it was my sister. I think it was my sister. And then we met everybody at the house later, is what it was. We had, my brother and I had heads full of lice, like bad. Malnourishment. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I already told you. Hush. I'm gonna go put another movie on for them to see if they'll calm down. Come on. Let's go. Come on.
Okay. You were saying that your stepmom.
Yeah, they came and picked us up. Signed some paperwork, basically saying that they're in her custody. Then that started the whole long CPS for that. We went to court. We're in court because, or they were mainly, the adults were. They terminated my dad's rights. There was a lot of stuff that, you know, they were able to. Okay. Then she adopted us. Now, mind you, she adopted us whenever I was 16. I changed my name. She was put on the birth certificate, kind of thing. From there, we basically in and out of the hospital for my brother all the time because of how sick. Found out later that he's got MRSA and he was sepsis.
Wow.
Eat it. Eat it.
Is your brother still alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Still gets very sick. He's very high risk, very sick easily, in and out of the hospital still to this day. So things were going kind of okay. Me and her, my stepmom / adoptive mom, constantly fighting over stupid stuff. And I'm being honest with you, it's not just normal teenage stuff either. It's
What?
It's normal everyday life. Like, you look at her funny, or you look at her the wrong way, she's automatically snapping at you, and you had to walk on eggshells. I tried leaving when I was 18, came back a couple of times, then left. I just couldn't handle the fighting, couldn't handle being in her house, couldn't handle the rules essentially that were really unfair. And not allowed to go out. I'm 18. I'm not allowed to go out. I'm not allowed to work. I had to work for her taking care of my brother. If I went to college, I had to prove to her that I was going to college. So, no, me being the rebellious person that I was being at that time, went to college, yes, but it was a social event for me because that was the only break I got. So yeah, I screwed up on a lot of the only one I actually paid attention to was my history class. That's the only one woo, you okay? That's why we don't walk on the table. Sit down. You just tripped over the cord.
Flying children.
Yes. Like I said, just a lot of fighting, there was a lot of physical fighting in there too. It wasn't just verbal. It was physical because she couldn't keep her hands to herself, and it got to the point where I started defending myself, and she didn't like that, so it got worse. She allowed my dad to come back when I turned 18. That's the other reason why I didn't want to be there. When I was with my dad, he had molested me, and this is why, part of the biggest reason why he lost his rights. So, and she let him back in. I can't stand the man.
I'm sure.
I did invite him over to talk to him, basically to tell him how I felt about him, how pissed off I was at him, how hurt I am by him, how mentally effed up I am, basically, because of the crap that he's put me and my brother through. And he never left.
What do you mean?
She kept him there. She allowed him to stay.
Wow.
That's where a lot of my rebellious nature came from after I turned 18.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. To be on my good side, he bought me alcohol and stuff, which I'm like, okay, cool, fine. It gets me through the day. He was trying to turn me into an alcoholic like he is, kind of thing. But wow. He would use her money to go buy alcohol. He would sneak money, and then I would get blamed for it. She gave him her card. This is what never made sense. She would give him her card, yet I was the one getting blamed for money missing. She claims to this day I owe her $5,000, and I'm like, how? I'm gonna move with you to the living room. So with that being said, let's see. I got pregnant at 21 because I was kicked out of her house and I really didn't have anywhere else to go. Went to somebody I thought was my friend. Got pregnant, not voluntarily. Then left that situation. Went back home, basically sucked it up because I knew I needed somewhere safe to stay for my son to be born. And it was always a fight because she just liked to rub it in that she was better than me and all this other stuff, that she was supporting me when really it wasn't her supporting me. It was at that time, the government. To be honest, I was on public assistance or government assistance, excuse me. And she would take it, all my food stamps. And then it got to the point where I had my son early. And I think part of the issue I had him early was because of the stress I was under.
Yeah.
How
early?
They thought he was 36 weeks. Found out he was 30. Lung development wise.
Wow.
He kept pushing me to walk, which I shouldn't have been walking at 36 weeks. My doctor wanted me on bed rest. And I remember her asking the doctor at the last appointment if it would be safe for the baby to come, because I was already starting to dilate. And I've been putting signs to like 2 and 2 together basically as I think about it more and more. I'm like, did she plan on me to have that baby early or what? When I went into labor, I didn't know I was in labor. I wasn't having like contractions, or at least I wasn't feeling like I was having contractions.
Right.
She had me walk around thinking, well, if you're going to have them, you're going to have them tonight, which I pretty much did. Went to the hospital. They had me walk around for an hour. So I went from a 1 to a 5 in that hour. And they said, yep, you're having them tonight. So had my baby.
Did you have to stay in the hospital?
A long time. He was born on the 21st of August, and we didn't leave until that hospital until September, I want to say 30th or somewhere around there. We were in there for a while with him. He kept on turning blue and stopped breathing on us. Then they sent him home. I didn't realize that they had put him under failure to thrive.
Yeah.
They told her, but they did not tell me, which is odd. Brought him home, and me and her were talking about, what dinner options we're going to have, and all of a sudden I hear like this, like that noise, and I jump up to check on him, and he's turning blue and he's aspirating. Same thing he did in the hospital. So we get him to the next hospital, like call 911, and they take him, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with him, and all they can think of is maybe he was just sent home too early, and he's got lung developmental issues because of how young he was. They finally, after the second time of sending him back to the hospital, took him to Children's Hospital. And there I got a couple of answers. They just said he was just so young that his body was wanting to kind of shut down. They put him in the NICU. In the same room, my sister died. So it was very, I don't know.
Triggering.
Emotional.
Bathroom.
They could take a hair follicle test because I'm not going to be blamed for doing drugs.
Right.
So they took that.
Have you ever done a drug in your life?
Weed.
Okay.
Besides what the doctors have given me for surgeries.
Right.
That's it. Other than that, no. I've never touched heroin, meth, anything. I've seen what it does. I don't want that lifestyle. I basically got apologized to by the doctors, and they started listening to me over grandma and letting me have more information. They did more testing. They put him on the EEG, EKG is for the heart, EEG is for the head.
Yeah.
The EEG. And he was connected that for 24 hours. He had 2 episodes on that. That's all they call them is episodes. Then they came up with a machine to put on his, because he's so tiny, they can't really do an apnea test on him. So what ended up happening is these episodes were caused by him having sporadic apneic attacks, or whatever they're calling them. And nothing to do with me, just his lung development. He was taken off of Failure to Thrive, saying that he's getting better. He was in there for a month until he started breathing better on his own. During this time, I lost the ability to breastfeed him. Didn't have access to a pump to give him breast milk. So we moved to formula. And I mentioned that because there was a lot of emotional abuse by my mom about how I wouldn't be able to breastfeed my baby and everything, and that's something I plan to do.
Well, and I love breastfeeding.
Yes, I still breastfeed my 2-year-old.
Yeah, I did both kids till they were 2.5, so I did 5 years straight.
Yeah.
And how old was your son at this time?
I want to say like 3.5 months. Yeah. So he needed it until 6, especially being so frail. But I got to the point where I didn't have the support or even knowledge how to do anything. So I said, okay, well, we'll do formula. And they're blaming the fact that he was having these apneic partly on not gaining enough weight and not eating enough, which I was always taught you leave a baby alone to sleep.
Yeah.
And I wasn't told to wake him up to feed him.
Right. No, because if they're hungry, they're going to wake up and eat.
Right. That's what we all thought.
Yeah.
But not my son's case.
Okay.
So they said that's partly to do with everything. They said that honestly, it's nothing to do with how I was doing everything. It was just the fact that he's just too young to wake up on his own. You're letting the dog lick your feet. Okay. Got him home finally. He started doing semi better, just very sick all the time. I found out by his doctor later on that, and I know it's a controversial subject, but he can't have vaccines, so they gave him a medical exemption. His vaccines were causing him to have seizures.
Wow.
To the point where he would stop breathing with these seizures and end up in the hospital. My mom got a hold of that and tried to say that I was a crazy anti-vaxxer and not doing stuff to help prevent all these diseases on my child, when I had medical doctors saying do not give him anymore because whatever's in it he's allergic to. And girls, I ended up being able to leave after she put her hands on me with my son in my arms. I left to basically it's a halfway house in Napa. I was able to get in fairly quickly, thankfully. Got away from her for a little bit, started living my life, and she was sitting there telling everybody that she could, that I was on meth. Because I lost weight because I didn't have a vehicle. I was walking everywhere with my child. I took the bus when I could, but I was walking and I lost a bunch of weight. And she told everybody that I was on meth. Living in a halfway house where I get drug tested. She had called, I had visited her because my dad had taken me to take my son to his doctor's appointment in Oakland from Napa. and we were visiting with her just a little bit so she could see her grandchild. I had changed his diaper there and noticed that he was getting a really bad diaper rash again. He's teething at this point, really sick. Also, next thing I know, the earthquake happens, and then I'm going out of town or out of state to visit family here in Texas with my other half, and I get a phone call out there saying that CPS wants to talk to me. I started laughing. I go, it's a joke, right? You know, like, why are you calling me? Why? I'm out of state. What are you talking about? CPS in California wants to talk to me.
Who's telling you this?
The CPS worker from Napa.
So she's saying that CPS wants to talk to you?
That CPS wants to talk to me. And I'm just, and like I said, I'm like, this has got to be a joke. And I laughed at her, like, what are you talking about? I'm out of state. How are you gonna even open a case against me? I've been out of state for like 2 weeks. She goes, you have? I said, yes, we're out here visiting family. What? And like, I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that she called me. Like, why are you calling me? And so, well, she goes, when will you be back? I go, honestly, I don't know how long this trip is going to be. I have no plans on returning anytime soon that I know of, you know.
What were the allegations of why she wanted to talk to you?
Because my son has severe diaper rash, and it looked like I was putting cigarettes out on his skin. My son's got eczema. No, hurting sissy. Sorry. So with that being said, my son's got eczema patches that like are circular. And I started like this, I even laugh even harder at her. I go, wait, what did you just say? I have medical documentation that it's all being treated. It's girls. We finally get back to California, I want to say 2 weeks later. We're taking our time, didn't really care, you know. So to keep them, because they kept on calling me, when you come back, we have to, you know, see the child before we could even try to close out the case. So I took them to the office, and the lady said she was closing out the case, and then turns around and shows up at the place I'm staying, which is my other half's grandma's house. And they all said, no, you're not coming in because she doesn't live here, which we even told her I was homeless at the time, trying to find somewhere else to live, that we stayed there for a couple of nights, and we're waiting for the shelter to let me in.
Right.
And it was just at that point, we went back down to the office, like explaining, you guys already said this case is closed. You can't come out, and because Eric was looking up our rights and stuff, and said, you know, you said the case was closed already. There is no reason for you to be harassing either of us about where we're going, what we do with our child, where we're staying at. There is a roof over the child's head. And then she tried to say, well, I went by the house that you guys are staying at. I didn't appreciate that the garage looked extremely messy. Mind you, this is right after the earthquake. Of course, everything.
What earthquake?
In 2014, the earthquake that happened.
I don't remember. That's okay.
I forgot what they call it, but it did a lot of property damage in Napa. It happened. It was centered in American Canyon.
I do remember.
Yeah. So it was one of those things of, are you kidding me right now? You know, like, you're gonna get us on.
My shoe.
Fix it, please. You're going to get us on something that natural disaster happened. We're busy helping other family around this time too. I don't know. I just know that everything was just closed out finally with her. Then shortly after that, we moved to Texas because we weren't finding any more work out in California. I was trying to look for a second job at that point to be able to try to even be out there. Finally got another job, but it still wasn't paying the bills because, well, California's expensive. So technically I was working 2.5 jobs and not making it. Something had to give, and both jobs I was making $15 an hour. I should have been making some kind of progress somewhere, and I really wasn't. Moved out here to Texas. Everything was all fine. Lived in our apartment for 4 years, or not 4 years, sorry, for about a year, and then we moved in. We got our own piece of land, our own house out here, and then the electricians on our first case called CPS because we had issues. Quiet, please. We had issues with our electric not being hooked up the correct way, so half of our house didn't have electricity, and we were trying for months to get them out here to fix it. Never happened until my other half's grandmother wrote them a letter saying, hey, you guys need to fix this.
Right.
We had just got back from visiting her, and we had a bunch of puppies that somebody was supposed to be taking out, while we were gone. Found out that they just left a bunch of dog food on the floor and a big bowl of water, and so we walked into a mess. So these people came, and I'm in the middle of trying to clean up house. I even explained the situation to them. I'm sorry, this house usually doesn't look like this or smell like this. It stinks. Right. And I need the electricity, obviously, to get my carpet cleaner working, which you kind of can't do that without power in part of our house.
Yeah.
We got the CPS call there. They came out, looked around the house, closed it out. Talked to all of us, seen the kids, closed that one out, rolled it out, understood the situation. Then after I had my daughter, which is with the CPS coming out that first time, I was pregnant with my daughter and already having complications. So I think the added stress for that caused me to have my daughter early. She was 34 weeks, 5 days when she was born.
How many?
34 weeks, 5 days.
So early again.
She was in the NICU for 2 weeks. Just got her home for maybe a week, so I hadn't had time to really clean up my house in this time. Thank you. It's not my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay. So we get another call because my son, who's got the special needs, got out my window and took off down the street by himself during nap time. Mind you, I was asleep on the other couch with the baby on me, feeding her, and I fell asleep with the other. So he took off to, mind you, we're fairly new to this neighborhood still, and don't get out a lot because I was pregnant and just trying not to go too many places and having complications.
Right.
These people didn't know where this child belonged to, so they called the sheriff, which any person really would, which, okay, cool. This sheriff shows up after my son is home, asking me what happened, basically, and I explained, I was asleep on the couch, blah, 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 the whole situation I just explained to you. Only thing I can think of is he got out the window. He can't get out another door because it's locked.
Right.
And he goes, well, I need to see the other kids. I go, okay, stay here. I'll be right back with the kids. I don't want the dogs in the house. So I tried shutting the door, and the dog barreled his way in as I was shutting the door. And the officer took that as invite to come in.
Huh.
Mind you, my house wasn't clean. We had boxes stacked up, and this is the room that had the boxes all stacked up all right here because we just moved out of the storage unit. My daughter's crib was over there more, and then my other daughter's crib was over here in this other room that's now walled off. I don't know if you can see the wall off over there.
Yeah.
And it honestly, I had a bunch of clothes everywhere. The kids had their toys everywhere. Like, just my kitchen dishes were full to the brim. Eric was at work that night or that day, and I called him explaining that there was a cop there that basically forced his way in. The cop didn't appreciate that very much and called CPS. CPS came out. The guy was
He
very
didn't appreciate what?
that I told my husband on the phone in front of him that the cop that he forced himself in, that he came in without my permission.
Now he calls CPS.
Yeah. So it was my daughter's birthday when this happened, when CPS shows up. My daughter's first birthday, and we explained the situation, and the guy was all, the guy plays, you know how they play nice. They're like, okay, yeah, no problem, whatever. And
Sorry.
we're gonna get this closed out, he says, and it took 15 months to get it closed out and 4 different workers and us going to court because we're fed up. Huh?
How many months?
15. Yeah. Mind you, they're claiming we needed resources, we needed this, which in the beginning, yeah, all the resources that they were giving us was great. However, it got to the point where they were using every little excuse.
Frick, yeah.
And it got to the point where it affected my work because I had to go to work. I started working again. And because of them telling me that I had to go to court, I lost my job. Never lost my kids, and
What was your job?
I was working the same place Eric is.
Okay, just one moment, I'm sorry. Okay, so you're working and you lose your job.
Mm-hmm.
Is that even like allowed?
I don't know. All I know is that because I had to keep on dealing with the CPS people, that I had to call in a couple of times too, because they came at the time I needed to start work, and Eric and I were on opposite shifts.
Yeah.
And these people wouldn't show up until like 2 hours after the time they were supposed to show up. Which one point I said, you know what, F you, I'm going to work. I need money, you know, like, how am I supposed to provide for my family? So this one day that this lady goes to my babysitter's house, wants to go into my babysitter's house thinking it's my house. And I said, this is not my house. I can't give you permission to go in there. Are you crazy? She goes, well, then I'll go look at your house right now. I go, no, because I'm going to go to sleep right now. I just got off a night shift. I'm tired. I'm up already too late as is. My kids are being dropped off in a safe spot, and you can make an appointment to come back to my house. And so she made an appointment for the following Wednesday, which was in 2 days, to come to my house at 4:30 or 3:30 or 4:30, one of the two times. I think it was going to be closer to 4:31. She never showed up at 4:30. I waited until 5:30 for her to show up. She never did. So I finished getting ready for work. I got in the car, got my kids from daycare, and went to work because Eric and I, again, switched off. She calls me saying that I'm not complying with them. I said, I waited until 5:30. The appointment time was 4:30. I could not wait any longer. I have a job to go to. And she claimed that I was lying about that. So what ended up happening was Eric and her also said some words to each other because it got to the point where it was BS.
Yeah.
He heard this conversation and he's like, how could you show up at 5:30 knowing damn well I usually don't get off until 6 and she needs to be at work at 6. All the other caseworkers knew this.
Right.
They wanted us to do parenting classes, counseling, something else. I can't remember what. And I said, I can't keep doing this. I've already jumped through all your guys' hoops that you've wanted us to have. We've got safety plans in motion. We've got stuff on our doors and windows to keep my kids in the house, essentially, to keep them from leaving my house.
Right.
We got doctor's appointments beyond. Sorry. I got done with this. Hold on. Look at the kids through the window, seeing that they were eating dinner. No concerns. Thankfully, my living room wasn't a mess that day. Besides the normal dinner mess.
Right.
What am I?
Yeah. What? Go get one.
Okay.
They might be in the dishwasher.
No.
No? Okay, whatever. Can you please put the milk up?
No.
Okay, I will.
No.
Go on. Go eat. Oh, good job. Still teaching this one. But thankfully this guy left.
Good. So let's go to the most recent CPS
Okay.
case investigation.
So with this CPS case, mind you, there's a little backstory to this one. I was taking care of my niece for my daughter, or for my sister. Sorry, taking care of her daughter. Because she was so in an abusive situation living with my mom and getting scratch marks put on her and basically told to go kill herself. So I said, well, that's not right. Let's leave her here. She's 14 years old. Doesn't need to be hearing all that. Doesn't need to be told that.
Your niece.
Yes. So got her plane ticket out here. My sister reimbursed me for it. She was out here for 5 months, and my sister threw, excuse my language, but yeah, good job. Excuse my language, but threw a bitch fit to have her daughter back because I needed to reschedule the appointment that she had made for her daughter while Eric was on days. I
Now,
can't.
is this sister-in-law
No,
your blood sister?
adopted,
Okay.
but sister.
Adopted from who?
My stepmom. That's her daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Sorry.
Okay.
So my stepmom had two children previous. They're 14 and 12 years older than I am.
Okay.
Now, my brother's got all his crap together. My sister, on the other hand, does not. She's in and out of jail all the time, prison, drugs, identity theft, GTA, you name it. Just overall
GTA.
Grand Theft Auto. I call
Okay.
it GTA. I don't know what else to call it.
That could be it. I'm not familiar. So
I don't know. I don't really exactly know what the term is either. I just call it that because of the game. But all jokes aside, just really hasn't had her life together.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, are you there?
Yeah.
I got a phone call, random number. Well, she wanted her daughter back, and it started a big fight. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't very happy. I didn't feel comfortable sending my niece back into an abusive household. With that being said, she had just visited out here in August, and thank you, baby. And there was no issues. My house was constantly stayed clean. Nothing anywhere that, besides a sink full of dishes that was her daughter's chore. I don't know exactly where to go from there, except to say legally I had to send her back. There's nothing I could do.
Right.
Only thing I could do is wait on my niece to call me if anything happened. Well, the Monday after I sent her back, I got CPS at my door with allegations saying there's feces on the floor. I let the dog attack my children. I keep them locked in their room all day. Yeah, because I get too irritated with my kids. I said, obviously that's not the truth, because my house is a mess all the time. And I wouldn't let the worker in at that time because, yeah, my house was a little messy. It wasn't uber bad. It was just me. I don't like them seeing a mess at all. It has to be spotless. With that being said,
it does.
yeah. And so at first, whenever the lady came there, I thought it was because my son was sent home with COVID-like symptoms. It was allergies. We're taking him, to his doctor as soon as I can get him in. And then the next day, my daughter was sent home with the same COVID-like symptoms, again, allergies. And this lady just wouldn't come in until we got clearance.
Did they have like fevers or anything like that?
Runny nose and a slight cough.
But that's it.
Yeah, but they're being overly cautious. Can you please put that in the trash? Stop kicking it around. It's not a toy. It's garbage.
So with them having these colds, whatever.
Yeah. They got sent home.
And so they didn't call CPS.
No.
Okay, I'm getting it now. This is just coincidence.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I thought whenever I first answered the door, it was maybe the health department, because my child was sent home with COVID-like symptoms, and I've been hearing about the health department showing up at people's doors. Okay. Now, I've also heard horror stories about CPS being called because somebody's got COVID.
I've heard that.
Yeah. That wasn't the case. They had allegations about my house, and they had a bunch of details about my house that an anonymous person, a stranger off the street, wouldn't know, because I don't let anybody. And they use the excuse of maybe the neighbor called whenever I called them out on it. First of all, my neighbor doesn't know where my cat box is. My neighbor doesn't know which room is my children's room. They don't know what my kids. Well, my one neighbor doesn't know what my kids' names are. The neighbor that they were blaming it on. So this finally, the lady came out after my sister-in-law came. She helped me, kind of reorganize my house a little bit more, and just to try to get the case closed faster or whatever. Well, the lady came out, did her walkthrough and took her pictures and ruled out the case.
Right.
But because we had the previous ruled out cases, they turned it over to family-based services because they did a risk assessment, and we came out high risk because of the open cases. That was the first one, or previous open cases, excuse me. What was the other one? My 2 children are special needs. I have children under the age, like small children is their other thing. And I have bipolar disorder. Is why our risk assessment came up high. Hold on, Emily. Let me help you. Almost fell. No, you don't need no more cereal. You really don't. This child and her Cocoa Puffs. All right, that's enough. I'm sorry, your hair is going. I was trying to do that one-handed. I'm gonna walk outside with you because my child's come. My older two are gonna come off the bus here in a little bit.
That's fine.
Family services got a hold of it, and the guy, I recorded this conversation between me and the guy. He didn't know I was recording, and I did that purposely because I knew that they were going to try to pull a stunt like what they just pulled. He tells me in person that he has no safety concerns. He tells us over the phone that he has safety concerns and he wants us to do a psychosocial evaluation. And I'm sitting here going, that sends up red flags to me. And Eric and I, we're not very happy about it, obviously. And we're kind of grinding our feet on this and told him, you know, it's BS. You know, it's not right that you guys are doing this. You said that you had no safety concerns, and now all of a sudden that you're at your office, you're saying you have safety concerns. I go, I have this whole conversation between me and you recorded. I can use that, is what I told. I go, before we even make a decision, we're going to go talk to an attorney. And I will get back to you with my answer. And we haven't been able to get a hold of an attorney yet to even talk to anybody about. I tried calling legal aid out here. There's no resources because of COVID, they said. With that being said, I get a text message Thursday saying that, now mind you, this phone call was on Tuesday mid-morning. And I get a text message by the original caseworker on Thursday saying that they're going to take us to court for under a motion to participate. So that's where we stand right now. On a ruled out case. Yeah.
Wow.
The whole case, the other worker ruled it out. I have the recording where she said that it's ruled out. And this guy is keeping it open because we're high risk.
Huh.
Yeah.
It doesn't even like.
There's no climax, no nothing. It's just
Right.
they give me time to talk to somebody, but we had to wait on them to do whatever they needed to do, and they can't wait on me for like a week to try to get a hold of an attorney. Automatically going to take us to court. It doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
It really doesn't.
Nope.
Something's
sure does
missing.
not.
Somebody's not saying something. I don't know what. Yeah. I'm very confused about it all.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I'm trying to think like.
We even asked them, if we do this, what is the worst case scenario if we do this test or evaluation? And he's all, worst case scenario, you lose your kids. I said, then I'm not doing it.
Well, yeah.
Obviously. And then Eric's all, so basically it's based on somebody's opinion of you.
Yes.
That's all this is. It's based on somebody's opinion. So that guy could have a really bad day in that department and sit there and say that you are certifiably crazy and you lose your kids, or we lose our kids. And the guy sat there and said to Eric, oh, do you think you're crazy? Do you think you're crazy? Trying to egg Eric on into saying he's crazy and or whatever. And Eric's like, no, I don't think I'm crazy. I'm asking you questions. I'm stating what's really going on. You guys are grasping at straws. What are we doing so bad if we have a ruled out case? Oh, we have safety concerns. What safety concerns? Because I heard in the recording that you don't have any. That the only reason why you were going to keep it open is so that you could finish filing your paperwork and then close it. You're going to come out for this month and next month and take pictures of just the kids. And even then, my wife said that you told her, and I even got that on recording, that I could send him pictures of my kids if they need any pictures. So something's fishy. Very, very fishy.
And there hasn't even been a judge involved yet.
No. I'm waiting to be served at this point because, like I said, they didn't even give me time to even try to talk to an attorney or anything to give them my answer. I don't understand anything. And like I said, I've been trying to get a hold of somebody, and I hit a brick wall every which direction I turn. Either they want ridiculous amounts of money just to do a consultation,
Right.
or nobody's available.
Or like me, where your case is so crazy, they won't touch with the 10-foot pole.
At this point, I honestly, I kind of want to get them for harassment. I want to get them for, pain and suffering. Oh, is that funny? Come here, little Belle. Yeah. But I don't know what to do. No, Dunkle's not here. We're waiting on brother and sister.
French fries. I want French fries.
So
She wants French fries.
butterfly,
Oh, so I want French fries too.
right? Sounds good. Here. I'll show you. I don't know if I could flip my camera.
Huh.
I don't know where no. It's hot out here, just in case you're wondering why there's no. Oh yeah?
I got the shoe.
Yeah, you got your shoes. Yeah,
Myself.
good job. She's still learning how to put her shoes on. It's the Velcro ones, but she's putting the Velcro behind the tongue of the shoe instead of on it.
Yep. Oh. Well, my gosh. I'm like trying to think, and
We're going next.
I feel
There's
like
nothing really to do except for, like, at this point be forced to do what they want us to do. But like we've done, they're acting like we weren't participating at all with them. And I've let them in my house. I agreed to do the parenting class that's on the phone. I even started it.
Wow.
Oh no. Face.
What?
Look, face.
What?
Good face.
Look at my face?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's the sun reflecting off the necklace is what she was saying.
Oh,
I was trying to figure it out, then I seen the reflection of it.
yeah.
Like I said, I really don't know what to do myself. I'm lost.
I would call attorneys, and I would just,
I've been doing that.
and now what you can do is take this video and start sending it to them.
Okay.
You know, and say, look, here's my story. This is what I've gone through, with my kids, and this is what they're threatening, and I'm not really sure what to do. Do you have a court date?
Not yet. Like I said, I'm still waiting to be served. like I said, I got that message on Thursday, so I'm probably gonna get served this week.
Okay, look, on Saturday, why don't you call and call the radio show? Did you know that we do the radio show?
Yeah.
Okay. Call in and ask your questions.
Okay.
And tell them, you know, basically you're being harassed by CPS. You are.
And Texas law is unless it's the same allegation twice in a row, they have to investigate it.
Mm.
Even if it's a revenge call like this was.
Did she say, oh, shoot?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Your nose? Okay. Or a chew or something. I don't know. Okay. Shh.
Mom.
Go play over there. Go play over there.
No.
Of course not.
I hate when they say no back like that. My
No.
daughter does that. And it's so,
All of them do it.
yeah. I'm just like, I want to smack her so hard sometimes.
My son and my oldest daughter and my son,
Yeah.
because of their autism, they have both of them have basically the same issues wrong with them. She's just very, I don't know how to explain it, like very strong-willed, very strong, like thick-headed. Him, on the other hand, he's just got ODD, where he's just like, I'm not going to do what you tell me to do, and his impulsivity doesn't help things either. They tell me no, and I say, excuse me?
Yeah.
And they both look at me like, oh, we should have said that. No, mind you, I don't spank my kids.
Right.
I stopped spanking my kids after the first CPS call out here. Although they said it's completely legal to do so.
It is open-handed on the bottom.
Or the thick part of the leg up on the top.
Yeah.
However, I don't want the offhand chance that he moves the wrong way and I smack him too hard.
Right. And it hits somewhere else.
Yeah. Because my son's got behavioral problems to the point where he'll sit there and say random stuff like, and he'll make it up, which is really weird because we don't understand why he makes this stuff up. Why'd you touch my pee-pee? And stuff like that. And we're like, dude, stop saying that. Nobody did that.
Wow,
Because I know I was just kidding, Mom. I was like, you're going to get somebody in trouble.
Yeah.
But he doesn't understand, for some reason in his mind, he doesn't understand that that's not okay.
Right.
And we've talked to counselors about it, and they go, some kids are like that. They just, with these disorders, reality and fiction are not the same. Or reality and, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Come here. No, don't get on the bus.
Don't get on the bus.
My daughter's trying to take off with the other kids' bus.
Yeah. Well, I'd like you to call in on Saturday, message my assistant that you've been messaging and ask her for the phone number and write down a couple of bullet points and then ask, you know, like, what can I do or what can I expect or how can I handle this before they come at me?
So, no.
Well, message my assistant for that info.
Okay.
And then I hope you call on Saturday night because I look forward to hearing what my attorney has to say.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of, because the last one was on Halloween, I couldn't really listen too long.
We did a rerun anyways.
Oh, okay. So I would like to actually talk to him to see what he says. about the whole situation. Even Eric said, you know, if you can get a hold of him, get a hold of him.
Yes. So, okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing your story. I know a lot of it, all of it was very difficult. But I really appreciate it. It was so nice to meet you, and I look forward to hearing from you on Saturday.
Thank you for doing this.
Of
I
course.
appreciate
I
it.
hope you have a good rest of your day.
I'll try. My kids are already
Yep,
trying to run
I'll
away.
let you go. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.